Hi, it is the last day of November, which means it is time to decorate for Christmas. Let's get rid of the fall decor. Let's move in the Christmas decor. Let's put up my Christmas tree. Really get into the Christmas spirit. All right, we have made some progress. I am not sure I love everything where it is, but for now, I think we've made enough progress that I still have to eat dinner. So I'm gonna eat some dinner. I should move our mushroom friend because I guess he's more fall than winter. I think we'll still play around with some things, but I'm glad that we've made some progress at least. I'm happy with the progress that we made so far. I really want to go thrifting for a pair of old ice skates to hang from this old sled. I got that sled off of Facebook Marketplace last year, and I would love to pick up some old antique ice skates to hang off of it because I think that should be so cool. I also don't know where these little trees are gonna go over here. So I have two trees over there, and I'm not sure where they're gonna go. I'm wondering also, they look a little bit modern compared to the more like classic aesthetic vibe, but I don't know. And there's nothing to say that I can't just have multiple different vibes going on, because why not? It's my house and everyone should decorate with whatever makes them happy. So anyway, I'm gonna make some dinner and sit down and probably finish my library book that I'm really enjoying. It's called The Boyhood of Cain, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a very insular, small cast of characters, and it's just a coming of age tale. And I love character driven studies, and I love coming of age, and this is very much what it is. And there's some really interesting musings on life within it. So I'm excited to finish that up. And I'll check back in with you the next time we do something Christmassy. I am thinking I would like to crochet my own stockings. I have never tried that before, so I would like to do that. So I think that may be a project for us. All right, I'll talk to you in a little bit. First snow. Well, it's sort of like hail, but it's almost the first snow. I may or may not have gone to TJ Maxx and to HomeSense. I had to come because I need a new table runner because my table runner is fall and I need it for Christmas. I saw some at TJ Maxx and I sort of liked them. Then I went to HomeSense. I didn't like any of the ones there, so I went back to TJ Maxx and I found the one that I had almost liked, but then I actually found one that I liked even better. So I brought that one home, and I may or may not have gotten a few other things too. So I really need to start shopping for other people and not for myself for Christmas. But now I'm gonna go home and rest and relax a little bit before I have to go into work tonight. But I do think we will do a little bit more Christmas decorating, and I'm hoping to be able to start crocheting a stocking. I've looked at a few different patterns on Etsy. I'm gonna narrow it down to one. I also really I wanna crochet a beanie, and I've never done that either. So we'll start on one of those when we get home. Maybe the beanie, just because I feel like maybe that's gonna be a little bit easier. I just don't know how you do the heel of the stocking. I feel like that maybe is going to be kind of complicated, but I've heard people say that stockings are pretty easy. So I think I can probably tackle it, but maybe we'll start the beanie this afternoon before I have to go into work. holding my phone. I don't feel like getting out my tripod, but I want to show you the progress. So I've started making the ribbing or the ridge, the band for the beanie. This is the pattern that we are working on. I'm not going to do the pom-pom. I'm just going to do the beanie without the actual pom-pom on the top. I'm excited to actually get started with the bobble stitches. I think it's going to be really cute. I am at the craft store. I finished with work earlier today. I didn't have too long today at work. Before I go home, I wanted to stop by the craft store to pick up some yarn to make our stockings that I'm planning to make. I don't think I'm gonna film inside the craft store because the parking lot is crazy. It looks so busy. So I don't think I'm going to film inside, but I will check in with you a little bit later if I decide to start on the stocking. I did finish the hat. I don't love it. I think I wanna make a new one with a knowing now what I know. But for a first attempt, I think it was all right. Back from Michael's and I found what I needed as far as yarn goes to make the stockings. I've been going through for days, kind of going through the Etsy patterns to see what stocking do I want to make, and I think I finally found the one. I will put the pattern of what I want to use here, and I'll put all the information linked down below. But in order to make that pattern, I obviously needed to get some acrylic yarn. It calls for a weight 4. At first I was thinking I wanted to do a stocking that had a much chunkier weight pattern, or calls for a much chunkier weight in the pattern, but then I saw this one. I was like, that is really pretty. So I ended up getting 2 of this cream color. This is Lion Brand Wool Ease. This is called Fisherman, which I love. That's awesome. That makes me like it even more. And I really like the feel of Wool Ease. So that is gonna be the base of the stockings. And then I went back and forth on, for a long time I thought I was gonna get 3 greens. And then I was like, no, I don't need 3 greens. And these 2, I think, I didn't know how much I wanted to blend them, because some of the stocking pictures do have them blended and then others just have one color. So I figured I could either do one stocking with just this forest green, which is called Deep Forest. This is Loops and Threads Impeccable Deep Forest, and this is Loops and Threads. And actually there's no color name for this one. These 2 I thought were the most foresty green. I'll probably start with this color since I like it the most, although this one felt a little bit more Christmassy. Either way, this is going to be sort of the color palette for our stockings. Then I just am really in a mood to make beanies now that I made that first one. I don't think I ever updated you on the first one. It was kind of a flop. I don't know that I'll wear it. I might just donate it, but it at least helped me get over the hump of never having made a beanie before. I actually don't think I have it. I don't know where it is, but I'll find it later if I can and give you an update. But I've always loved this Woolies Thick and Quick with this really beautiful kind of rainbow color. It's called Coney Island. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, it says 1 skein will make a beanie and I want to do it. So I bought that. And then I also have a pink coat, like a pink pea coat almost. And I don't usually have a hat that has any pink in it. And so I saw this Bernat super fluffy, and it's a cream color, but there are some pink flecks to it. And I just thought it's so soft. I would love to make a beanie out of this. So, and this is called Fawn Fleck is the name of this one. It was the only skein they had in this color, and I just really wanted this one. So all the yarn today was buy one, get one 50% off. So because I did have 5 skeins, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this one as number 6. The other update that I wanted to give you is that I did get some new Christmas lights for my tree. So if you'll notice, you would have seen in the time lapse earlier where I did put my tree up, and I love my tree. I've had my tree since I lived in Brooklyn, and I had like this little tiny studio apartment. I shared the bathroom. That's when I got this tree, and so it has some kind of nostalgia to it. I still just have such a great love for this tree. So if I ever do upgrade, which I do want to eventually, this will still be a tree. I'll just be one of those people that has more than one tree, which I aspire to be anyway. But the only lights I've ever had for this are just sort of that plug-in, just, you know, white lights that I think I got honestly at the pharmacy or something. I love, with this kind of woodland vibe that I usually go for Christmas, I always go white because I just think it's really classic. It looks like they're lit and the snow has just kind of fallen with my flocked tree. But I have such nostalgia for colored lights because when we were kids, the Christmas tree at home was always colored lights. So I started researching into the lights that are LED lights that you with a remote are able to switch from one color to the other. Because I know that even if I do upgrade my tree in the coming years, I don't ever want to get rid of this one. I just thought it would be a good investment that I could always have for this tree. I could move them to other places if I need to, because I do think they are indoor, outdoor. But essentially, they also have all of these different options for changing colors and light shows. So I'm excited. Also, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, I think I have 4 subscribers right now. If you are someone who wants to stick around and subscribe, it would mean a lot. All right, I'm gonna read. I will check in with you the next time I am doing something Christmassy and cozy. My gosh, wait, I forgot to show you one other thing that I got at Michael's that I'm really excited about. I shouldn't have bought it because I do not need any more Christmas decorations, but it was 60% off. Look how beautiful. I love him so much. So I think that he matches well with he's a little bit more burgundy than some of the reds that are like in my tree skirt, and the red that is kind of on here, I'll twist you a little bit. The red that is there on the stockings and the red that is there on the sled. However, I just think he fits the vibe, that sort of woodland vibe. And I'm thinking maybe right now, all the pictures that were back there are down because I need to switch them out for Christmas prints. Although at this point I haven't ordered the Christmas prints, so I may switch them just to generic prints because I do have some generic prints, but I thought he could be great to add into the gallery wall there with the mirrors, and he can be our little kind of standover. I'm not gonna want to take him down. I already know that. He's so beautiful. I'm actually really happy. I had him in the cart, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep him in the cart. I'm gonna go look at the yarn, and then I'll decide. And I'm really, really happy that I ended up picking him up. When my twin sister and I were in probably 9th grade, we were in a production at our local youth theater of the Chronicles of Narnia, and we played the reindeer. We literally played the reindeer pulling the White Queen's sled or sleigh, and we had no lines, but we just pranced around as reindeer. And our costumes were this exact color of burgundy. It was not like a velvety, but it was that burgundy. We had like these really cool like tunics that had a button detailing down the side, and we had these huge antlers, and our noses were drawn on brown. And I actually think that this is even better because now it makes me think of that memory too. So anyway, I had to make sure you got the update with our darling reindeer friend or dear friend, or yeah, but he's really beautiful. And the antlers, so pretty. All right, my friends, so now really I'll check back in with you again later. Let's get some lights on the tree. I really want to just like snuggle and crochet, and I want to maybe read. Oh, let me show you the progress that I made yesterday on the stocking. I have finished the toe and the foot, and now we're about to leave space for the heel and then go ahead and add the leg, I think it's called. Yeah, I think it's toe, foot, leg. So, and then it'll be a cuff. So I'm really excited. I think it looks pretty good. It's my very first time ever trying mosaic crochet, and I'm pretty happy. I've got the cozy ambiance going with the crackling fire, and I'm ready to get in the Christmas spirit for tonight. I'm gonna put you on time lapse. We're gonna try to get the lights on the tree. Hey everyone, I just got back from work. It is Saturday and I want to finish up my crochet projects. I mentioned that I was crocheting my very first beanie. This is the finished product. You have these really nice bobble stitches and then you go into the third loop of your half double crochet, and that's what makes these sort of stand out to the front and give that sort of striping nature. I do like how this turned out. I don't love the yarn that I used. This is Caron Simply Soft. I've never really worked with it before. I had it in my stash and I can see why some people don't love this yarn. It splits like crazy. It was really a headache to work with because of that. And I don't love the shininess that you get at the end, like that sheen. If this was like more of a matte green, I would love it so much more. The stitches on the top get fairly loose, and I don't know if that was my error or if that's just how it sort of has to be as you're decreasing, because you are still using half double crochets to decrease, I believe. So I wonder if maybe you decrease just with single crochets. Maybe that would be better, but then also maybe it would be too dome-like. I did make it a bit too large, so I kind of have to scrunch it down because there's a little bit of extra here. Like if I leave it out, it sort of like puffs up a little bit too much. So if I do it, it's almost like I should have done it a couple rows shorter or multiple rows longer because it would have been nicer as like a slouchier beanie or a little bit closer to the head. I guess I could kind of like fold it and maybe that would be like a better option. So yeah, I guess that would work a little bit better. So maybe that is how I'll wear it. I decided I would start another beanie, and I'm really liking this pattern. The only problem is that this is supposed to be halfway done, and I don't think it's gonna fit my head. So obviously there's like a brim, but even if I stretch it, it's not going all the way halfway. So I may have to play around with it a little bit or maybe modify the pattern. I don't know if maybe my stitches are just too tight. I'm using the recommended yarn size and hook size, but I didn't do a gauge, a swatch. So I kind of never do. I don't know if I probably should, I'm sure, especially, I'm just not usually a wearables crocheter. I'm usually an amigurumi crocheter, and you don't have to do that with amigurumi because it doesn't really matter if your animal turns out larger than what the original pattern was, or smaller, I guess, but I just don't like doing it. I actually don't really even fully know how to do a gauge swatch. The flecks of color you can't really see. There's like some little flecks of pink and brown, but you can't really see it. I want to try to finish up or at least make some good progress on this one. It's going to be really warm too. I really do like this pattern, so I'm hoping that it fits, or that I can maybe, you're supposed to do this like a repeat 4 times, but maybe I could do it 5 times. But I don't know if that would mess up the pattern and sort of how it tapers in to taper at the top of the beanie. So I'm gonna just have to play around with it a little bit, but I'm confident I can make this work. And then my last update for you as far as crochet goes is the stocking I was working on, and I am just about done. How cute is this stocking? I'm really happy with it. This is my very first time trying mosaic crochet, and I'm really pleased with it. The only thing I have to do is, of course, the heel, and then I don't know if there is a loop that maybe you can do after that, but I am very excited to finish this one off. I wish they were a little larger. It's a stocking size, but it's not really like a large stocking size. I did have trouble with the actual toe with not making it really kind of gapping in the stitches. So I did go down a hook size in the toe, but then I wonder if that sort of made things a little bit smaller. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm really happy and pleased with how this came out. My first stocking, my first beanie, so I'm excited. The next day, and I'm just coming out with a little update that I finished the beanie. I did have to do more than the 4 sections. I think I ended up doing 5, and a little bit of a half. And it fits pretty well. I love how it looks. It's really nice and cozy. It is a little tight, like when I was wearing it, it snowed a ton. I got a little bit of footage, but I was shoveling before work this morning, and when I took it off, I did have lots of ridges, but I think that's sort of just how it's going to be because this is like a thicker yarn. So, but if I am gonna make another one, I already actually started a second one. I really enjoyed this pattern because I think so often you just make like one rectangle and then you cinch it closed. And I just don't think that the top looks so great. This one, because you are doing those sort of curves and then you're doing some full rows and then you're going back to shorter rows and it sort of all fits together really well. I think that that makes for a more rounded top. And I did have to finagle a little bit to get it fully closed because it was the 5 rounds instead of the 4 or like 5.5. But all in all, I think it turned out pretty cute and I really am proud of it. So I did already start another one in this really cool colorway. This is Lion Brand Thick and Quick. And I think this is the Coney Island color, but this was one full skein. So I definitely need at least one more skein, maybe 1.5 even, because if I do fold this up, I may be halfway if I stretch. So I definitely need another skein, and I don't have any more of this color, but I like how the striping is working out. I don't know what this will match with as far as the coats that I have, but I just really love this color and I've always wanted to use it. So I'm excited to use it for this pattern. I think this pattern could be made a little bit shorter even if you wanted to have sort of like less of a band, and then you could have it even a little bit shorter. So you could do even a few chains less at the beginning, but I do really like the kind of tight to the, it's also really nice and warm in this Bernat. This was Bernat, the super fluffy Bernat, and I really enjoyed it with this one. So I'm excited. I had a really fun time decorating, getting into the Christmas spirit, and trying my beanies for the first time. We made this great beanie, which again, I just don't love the color. So I do think I'm gonna donate this one, and at least I can hopefully have someone really enjoy it and like it, or I might gift it. And we made the stocking, which I really am happy with. I'll either make a second one for me and my sister, or I was thinking this could be the stocking for her pup, Dia, which I know maybe that sounds strange, but she needs a stocking too. So maybe this could be Dia's stocking, at least for this year, and then I could make another one for next year. But I am hoping that I'll get the motivation to dive in and make another stocking before Christmas comes. We're gonna decorate the Christmas tree as a wrap up. I know I said a million times that I'm ending this video, but then there's always more decorating to do. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want more cozy content, more reading content, more crochet content, please join me here. I am just sort of a crafty, homey person, and if you like that type of content, that's what I love to watch, then please consider subscribing and sticking around. It was great to be here with you, but I hope you have a really great rest of your day or your evening, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Mm-hmm.